When I was 5 years old, my parents separated. My mom tried explaining to us that it was just going to be my mom, my younger sister and me from now on. But my younger sister and I came up with the story that he was at work whenever our friends asked. My dad was the life of the house. Always making friends with everyone he met out and about, playing with us and being the apple of our eyes. About a month after the separation, my mom announced to us that my dad was coming back. My parents were going to try again. Of course, being the kids that we were so happy. I still remember now my brother and I screaming and shouting as our mother watched with a happy smile. It did not last. I started to notice things. He wasn't the dad I remembered. He would berate my mom for the smallest of things. Things like the way she ate, the food she cooked, and the friends we had. I remember my dad forbidding my brother from going over to my aunt's house for a sleepover with my cousins because my aunt left the window open at night. My dad was controlling and would restrict us all from doing things. He ruled the house with an iron fist. A year of us living like the happy family my dad wanted. My mom said that my dad was not coming back. I didn't feel a certain way, for I didn't like the way my family was turning out. My younger sister, who had previously been the loudest of youths, would not talk to anyone. It had gotten so bad that her teachers often asked me to sit in her reading lessons, as her teachers couldn't assess her reading level, as she wouldn't trust anyone but me. My brother, who was the kindest boy I ever knew, was picking fights and getting detentions all the time at school. And my mother only left the house for school runs. From then on, we would spend weekends at our dad's house and weekdays at home with Mom. I didn't feel a certain way about things. When she thought none of us were awake, my mom would sit at the dining room table where we used to eat and break down and cry. I wasn't sure why then, but now I know that it was due to the stress of having to raise 3 young children, keep a house running on a church secretary's wage, and my dad refused to pay for the house and only gave a fraction of child support. Our financial situation worsened, so my mom instead took up a second job as a childminder. By this time my brother was in high school, and it was just my sister and I, still in primary school. My mom worked hard out to help keep a roof over our heads and give us a normal life with little help from our dad. The latter was living it up in his bachelor flat and the freedom to do whatever he wanted, his only fatherly duties being to see us on weekends. On one of my mom's bad days, she even let slip how dad had been cheating on her, and I felt sick. He took me to a woman's house once when I was about 8 years old and home from school with tonsillitis. Even forced me to call her auntie and gush over how cute I was. He had sat me in the living room. I still remember watching the Sleepover Club on Nickelodeon whilst my dad and auntie were elsewhere. To make things worse, auntie was a close friend of one of my mom's church friends. My mom's church friend was figure in the community, and she had seen my dad and auntie together and gave my mom the heads up. Mom was distraught. People now knew about my dad's infidelity. Everyone at church offered to pray for her. They meant well, but to a prideful woman like my mom, it was soul crushing. 9 years after the divorce, my father was now happily married to his new wife and had given us 2 new step-siblings. By then, my brother had cut all ties with our dad. My sister was going through her rebellious teen phase, and I was constantly anxious mess. Alongside, our mother was tired of our financial situation at home. She had 3 teenagers to support. It was suggested by my oldest half-sister, who luckily did not have the same dad, and her husband, who was a police officer and had studied law, who convinced my mom to seek legal action. As a result, she told us that she was going to take our dad to court, but she needed an address for her lawyers to send him a letter, an address she didn't have. Neither my sister or brother knew where he lived, but on each visit to his home, I made sure to keep special attention to all the road signs, landmarks, etc. This was my time to shine. After a quick Google search, I found his home and wasted no time in giving the address to my mom. A couple of weeks later, my younger sister gets a nasty text from my dad saying to never ask him for anything again, for we had betrayed him. My brother and I didn't care much, but my sister was pretty upset. Months later, my parents go to court. My mom brought my older half-sister, different dad, her husband and my brother with her. My father went alone. He appeared sallow, a shell of the man he was from our childhood, and revealed to my brother that he was ill with prostate cancer. We were sad for him, but that did not change the way that any of us felt. I felt only pity for him. For my dad is a man of pride. He prided in his health, something his parent did not have. Despite my dad brining up his sickness and treatment, he was forced to pay the child support he owed my mother. Over the past 10 years, he had accumulated thousands of pounds he had avoided paying my mother by secretly, reducing the amount of arrears he put into her account monthly. He had to repay what he owed in monthly settlements until both my sister and I turned 18. It was a small victory for us. The settlement did nothing to stop his cheating ways. He cheated on my now ex-stepmother after being declared cancer-free, and I am glad to say that I happily told her what he was doing after I put my skills to good work again.